Welcome back, ScreenRanters. Bloopers in film are common. Most of the time, those mistakes end up on the cutting room floor. However, sometimes they can be little clips of gold. When that happens, they might just end up in the finished cinematic product. Some actors have to deal with unforeseen actions happening around them. Sir Ian McKellen, Chris Pratt, Leonardo DiCaprio, and many more actors pop up today, so let's get cracking.
I present to you
a center for ants.
The Power Stone is a pretty powerful pearl, getting our alliteration in early, as seen by the Celestial, Isan the Searcher, in the Collector's video. A whole planet was wiped out with the tap of a massive Power Stone-infused staff. Strange how that capability is never seen again when the Power Stone comes out to play. So with that sort of destructive ability, it's only natural that one would have to be careful when handling the gem. We see with Karina in the same scene how strong the stone is. Star-Lord wasn't exactly careful when handing the orb containing the stone to the Collector. That could have been so bad. As it turns out, that wasn't meant to happen. Chris Pratt just fumbled the ball when offering it out. He grabbed it from the floor quickly and offered it once again, keeping the same deadpan expression across his face. Maybe the next time the Guardians have a planet-destroying weapon, Gamora should hold on to it. Quentin Tarantino always manages to attract great actors to his filmic projects, one of which was Leonardo DiCaprio for Django Unchained. In the film, he played the villainous Calvin Candy.
Roscoe, a beer for the man with the beard, and I will have a Polynesian pearl diver. Do not spare the rum.
So Jamie Foxx and Christopher Waltz's characters are at the Candy Ranch to find Django's wife. As Candy is fed up with the two lying about their intentions, he slams his hand on the table. However, DiCaprio actually smacked his hand into a piece of glass. DiCaprio doesn't stop as a wound forms on his hand. He keeps going with the scene as thick, red liquid oozes from the slice. He even pulls a shard of glass out of his hand and continues. Tarantino didn't yell cut. Instead, he saw that DiCaprio was going on, so they must keep shooting. Tarantino loved the gory effect so much that he even made a fake variation for a moment later in the scene. Yep. When Candy smears Broomhilda's face in claret, it's not the real deal, thankfully. That one blooper led to one of the highlights of Leo's great career. The 40-year-old virgin turned Steve Carrell from funny side actor to funny main character in Hollywood. One of the most famous scenes in the film involves a lot of hair and pain. In this scene, Carell's character is turning his hairy torso into a smooth torso, with the waxing, lots of waxing, and some yelling and cursing by Carell. This is a blooper for a couple of reasons. Firstly, Carell didn't realize how sore waxing would be, so his reaction is pretty close to how he actually felt in those moments. Secondly, it was due to the person waxing the folic jungle. In the audition, Mickey Mia had stated that she knew how to wax. Nope, actor Romany Malco had to genuinely leave the scene. He was that disturbed by what was happening before his eyes. The identity of Kaiser Soze in The Usual Suspects is an open secret in cinema. However, it was a massive twist in 1995. Now it gets spoiled at any opportunity.
Francine's throwing a surprise party for you next Friday at 7 p.m. She got you the movie The Usual Suspects. Kevin Spacey is Kaiser Soze. Takes all the names from the things in the room.
Ah, whoops. Should have said spoiler warning earlier. Oh well. Moving on swiftly from the almost 25-year-old film twist. In The Usual Suspects, one of the best-known scenes is the identity parade. As each character is forced to read a couple of adult language-filled sentences, McManus, played by Stephen Baldwin, delivers the line in an over-the-top fashion. It's easy to think it was due to McManus's comedic performance. However, the actor of Fenster, Benicio del Toro, was the person responsible. He had been potently trouser coughing during the scene. The relentless farting made the actors giggle, but apparently not the director, Bryan Singer. However, he changed his tune and went with this iconic version instead. Here are some Lord of the Rings facts. Gandalf is a human-sized wizard. Bilbo Baggins is a hobbit. Hobbits are a much smaller species compared to humans. They also have hairy feet that makes shoes pointless for them. They also have many meals throughout the day.
We do not stop till nightfall.
What about breakfast?
We've already had it.
We've had one, yes. What about second breakfast?
Anyway, Gandalf found out the hard way just how large the size difference between the two species is. In the first film, The Fellowship of the Ring, Gandalf goes to his old chum Bilbo. Bilbo's house is literally tiny for Gandalf. As the massive wizard tries to wander within the little hovel, he knocks against a dangling chandelier. Immediately afterwards, Gandalf turns and conks his noggin against a wooden ceiling beam. The beam knock wasn't actually meant to happen. The reaction of actor Sir Ian McKellen is genuine. Director Peter Jackson liked the touch of humor that moment provided. Tangent time. If you heart Screen Rant content, then boy howdy do we have something for you. If you subscribe to us and click that little bell, you'll be notified every time we release a new video. Outstanding. If you're on mobile, make sure notifications are on via your app settings. It's a phrase that's been parodied many times in cinema. It was even the basis for the cousin Nicky character in Rick and Morty. Mostly it's uttered by New Yorkers. The phrase "I'm walking here" originally came from 1969's Midnight Cowboy. However, it wasn't a sentence that was meant to be spoken. During the shooting of the multi-Oscar-winning film, the production didn't have a permit to close the street in New York for a scene. So rather than wait and get the correct paperwork, they decided to do some guerrilla tactics. The cameras were hidden as they shot this scene with real people surrounding the cast. During the scene, Dustin Hoffman and Jon Voight's characters walk down the street in the Big Apple as they chat to each other. Just as they cross a road, a taxi almost hits the Oscar-winning actors. Still in character, Hoffman slaps the hood of the taxi and yells,
I'm walking here! I'm walking here!
As such, the director, John Schlesinger, had to keep the moment in. Hoffman, by accident, created one of the most quotable lines in the moving pictures industry. In order to play her Oscar-nominated role as Daisy Domergue, Jennifer Jason Leigh had to learn to play the guitar. In order to nail the time period that the Hateful Eight was set in, she was given a guitar from 1860. It was an antique Martin that was loaned from the Martin Guitar Museum. In this particular scene, Leigh would have the guitar snatched from her by John Ruth, who was played by Kurt Russell. He would then go to smash the guitar, only for Tarantino to yell "cut." The guitar would then be replaced by a dummy one. Russell would then smash the instrument to bits. Only it didn't go down that way. Instead, Russell smashed the antique. Yep, a guitar that was over 150 years old, gone. So Leigh's reaction is, once again, genuine. She even looks to the crew just before they cut to another angle. Leigh had plans to buy that guitar due to its sentimental value. Russell was apparently distraught for breaking the Martin. Neither he nor Tarantino realized that was the genuine article. Zoolander, the film about a conspiracy with assassin male models, became a cult classic. The film has many quotes.
What is this?
A center for ants!
In this blooper scene, David Duchovny's character, J.P. Pruitt, was asked by Ben Stiller's Derek Zoolander why male models are being used as secret assassins. The future Hank Moody would go on to explain exactly the reason why. Once he gets to the end of his answer, a confused Zoolander repeats,
But why male models?
It turns out this was an accident. Stiller had forgotten his next line, so he just repeated the question. However, Duchovny stayed in character and deadpan told him that he just explained it. Due to this hilarious moment highlighting Zoolander's low IQ, the filmmakers decided to keep it in. Being John Malkovich is a weird yet fantastic tale. It all involves John Cusack's character, Craig Schwartz, finding a portal into the mind of John Malkovich's character, well, John Malkovich. The blooper scene was even used in the film's trailer. As Schwartz and Malkovich are arguing by the side of a road, a car comes past. The passenger yells,
Hey Malkovich, think fast!
The can then bounces off Malkovich's melon as he yells in pain. The film's director, Spike Jonze, spoke in the film's commentary about that moment. He mentions that the security for the film was pretty slack, so the extras had managed to sneak in some beers, and one in particular had quite a few. The extra decided to take the scene into his own hands by tossing a can at Malkovich's coconut. Besides being an amazing shot, the reaction of Malkovich is genuine. As Jones says, that's real pain. Jones says that due to getting a line, the extras' pay went from $100 to $700 per day. Everyone has a favorite Batman, but do you have a favorite Joker? Could it be Mark Hamill, Jack Nicholson, Joaquin Phoenix, Jared Leto, or someone else? What about the actor in this blooper, Heath Ledger? The late great Ledger is considered one of the best performers to don the clown makeup. For this unintentional scene, the Joker was being his typical anarchist self by destroying Gotham General Hospital. As the explosions go off sporadically, Joker makes his way outside. Now for the big finish as he presses the button. However, there was no boom. No finale ball of fire for Joker to depart on. The cast and crew for The Dark Knight knew that there was going to be a delay from pressing the button to when the special effects kicked in, but it was longer than expected, so Ledger went with it. While in character, he pressed the button over and over in frustration. Then suddenly, it all detonated. Ledger, probably a little surprised by all the sudden bangs, quickly makes haste from the scene. One of the most iconic scenes from one of the best Batman films turns out to be a blooper. Guess that's the magic of cinema. And that's a wrap. That wrecked antique guitar still smarts. The museum will never let production companies play with their artifacts again. What's the most expensive item you've broken? Tell us in the comments below. It'll make us feel bad for you, but also make us snort with laughter. Win-win. If any of these entries surprised you even slightly, then share and like it. You never know. We may do a sequel, or not. Who knows? That's the fun in a mystery. Cheers for joining us today. Later, Tater.